By the way, I just want to start out by saying I have talked to several of my prophet friends just to make sure they're celebrating, and guess what? They are. They haven't all jumped ship. Hope you haven't jumped ship. If you have, we'll throw you a life raft. Anyway, I had to, of course, come on. I'm going to come on every other day. As long as we're still up, I'll still be speaking. And guess what? I'm running forward with my race. Running forward with life, with joy, with celebration, and with God and his plans. And yes, according to the title of this post, the shaking has begun. And I'm serious about that. I'll tell you why I'm excited. You should go back and look at on Elijah Streams, the broadcast we did on November the 4th. And what God himself had to say about all of this. Guess what? He didn't give a date. And I'm not giving a date. I actually never have given a date. I let God choose his time because man has their own time frame. Some people can wait a few days, some a couple weeks, but man, I don't think anybody can go past a month except the ones who really know what God said. And I can tell you what God's doing. Yes, there is a line being drawn. Who will believe him and stand with him, and who he can use and accelerate in these powerful days ahead, and who will have to catch up. So I hope you're not on the catch-up side. That could mean several things. I won't go there. However, I do want to tell everyone hello. All you people who are still standing with what God said, I celebrate you. I congratulate you. You have blessed the heart of God that you're not giving up your stand. We all know what the Bible says. When you make a stand, stand therefore. You also know what it says, right? When you're going forward in the kingdom, don't step back. Or what? You will not be fit, in shape, or ready for the kingdom. So there you go. That's God's words to you. I hope you all who switched and jumped to the side of darkness, and that's all there is darkness and light right now. Get out of there while you can and be one of the ones who made a stand that you can celebrate and run in the streets and shout and yell. That's exactly what's going to happen because life will win. God always says to choose life, stand with life, participate with life, not the other side. And you remember we prayed for Mark Zuckerberg, right? So he knows he still has a chance to switch back and do what he did when he started all this. He designed and made a wonderful place for all of us to come and fellowship together, get to see different pictures and videos and laugh and enjoy them and enjoy life. And something happened to him. Please be praying for him, okay? This is a great place to do social networking, and that's why it was designed. But you can't let them ban you because you want God or you want what is right or you want life. And some of them who don't even know what they're saying, you don't realize what you're saying when you don't want to be on the other side and not the side God has chosen. If you think he's run away and he's hiding somewhere in heaven, that is not true. Did you feel the ground shake yet? Because you will. You remember on November 4th, God himself said, when the ground begins to shake, get ready for the landslide to expose everything. And you know what God's plans are. You've heard me say it from the very beginning, from 2015. Guess what? He's not changed his plan. What he is doing is exposing all the darkness. He's going to clean that platform off. No matter where they are, what they're saying, what they're doing, God's preparing us for the next 20 years of greatness. No, you don't have to get used to wearing masks for the rest of your life. You don't have to social distance for the rest of your life. God intends to actually take the virus off the earth. Maybe he'll put it with the other ones who were running away. I don't know. I just know this. I know what God's plans are. He hasn't changed them. And unless he tells me differently, I am not changing my stand. I will be right here releasing justice, releasing the host of heaven. And by the way, yesterday released 50 billion of the host of heaven. And if you did not know this, God calls Florida, over the skies of Florida, he calls it his battle station on earth. What does that mean? That means there are billions of the hosts posted there to be sent out on assignment And he had me send 50 billion. Yes, people, he has a lot. No one knows but him. You haven't counted them. You probably haven't even seen them. You'd probably be hiding if you had. The host of heaven are not beautiful, pretty boys with blonde hair and harps. They have weapons coming out of them. The frequency of God, the fire of God. They fight with lightning bolts. And guess what? Some of the ones who've been assigned now are the same ones who fought in the flesh on behalf of Israel. Go back and read it in the Bible. How one angel took up so many, hundreds of thousands, it shocked them all. We have some of those fighting with us. I enjoy commanding the host of heaven, and they enjoy going on assignments. They need orders from headquarters, and let me tell you, headquarters in heaven is very excited about these days. I know you've heard several times different people sending things around. I'm sure some of it's conspiracy stuff. Some of it's just being made up to make you feel better. Some of it's actually the real thing. You should decide on what you think it is. I just say this, get plenty of supplies, including cake, and maybe for a couple weeks or so, just to save you a trip to the grocery store. This is not a time for death and destruction for us. This is not a time for civil war. In a civil war, you have to have a divided nation. We have a pocket of people who'd rather have communism. There, I said it. The rest of us, almost 80 million of us, that's the majority in case you can't count. We want life, liberty, freedom, justice, and righteousness in this nation, and we are going to get it. If God can save a world when 8 people are praying, how much do you think he can do with millions of people praying for this nation, for its destiny, and also the impact that will have around this world? There are millions and millions of people praying and agreeing with you. What you shouldn't do is begin to bash one another. You're speaking the enemy's words. I'll bash evil all day long, but I'm not going to bash the ones he made. God sends people to this earth. They're already anointed. They're already appointed. I happen to be just one of those. But I will not lose my stand, and I will not back up. Because these are powerful days. If people say, what's going on? They're powerful days. And when the hand of your God is about to move for you, yes, you can sit and eat cake and watch. You've prayed. You've read your word. You've laid on your face. You've cried out to God. Guess what? He heard you. He's not going to ignore your words when they line up with his. When your words line up with his, they create something that no man and no devil can stop. So this is what we have to say. Go, host, make toast. I can tell you that they were released 50 billion the other day. Today, 10 more billion. God had me release to key points in this country and key points around the world to be ready. What can they do? They can expose things. They can speak to people and change the way that they're thinking. They can say things of God to their spirit, just like the devil says to yours. If you're hearing it's all over, let's just give it up. You're hearing the wrong voice. The shaking has surely begun that God spoke of on November the 4th when he said, when the ground begins to shake, get ready for the great exposure, the landslide of exposure that will happen. He's not changing who he has chosen to keep in the White House. And it doesn't matter to me when God finishes what he's going to start. I am celebrating with him. He took me forward in time again today and showed me people running into the streets in America laughing. They forgot if they didn't like someone of another color. Nobody cared. They were so happy and joyful. They were grabbing, they were hugging each other without masks, people. Nobody cared because freedom and liberty had come to this country. And then he took me and showed me different places around the world when this landslide is done. They were running into the streets. They were grabbing one another, laughing. They were dancing. They were celebrating. That is your future. So don't give up, don't step back, and don't take any fear. The only ones who should be afraid are the ones who committed crime. I'll tell you who is afraid. Hell. I've seen demons quaking everywhere. They're terrified of what is about to happen. They know what's going on. They know the hosts have been loosed on this earth. They know what they've even been assigned to. They're running. So why not sit down, get your popcorn, and enjoy the show? Because it's going to be great. People one day will make a movie of all of this, and people will roar and laugh and clap at the end. That's what you should be doing. And Jen has a report to give, a very short report about what God said on November the 4th when the ground begins to shake. Get ready for the landslide to happen. So she's going to come and share with you all just a couple of earthquakes that have taken place over the last couple of days, and especially the one that happened on the 4th. There you go, Jen. Come here.
I'll just stand over here.
Okay, go ahead and say it loud then.
So, there were quite a lot of things that happened, especially on the 4th. I pulled up an article, and I'm trying to find it. Yeah, it's the World Earthquake Report for Monday, January 4th, 2021. And it said that there were 10...
January 4th and November 4th.
January 4th.
January the 4th, okay.
Yeah. And it says 10 of the largest earthquakes in the world happened, and it just lists all the different ones. And then the ones that were felt were places like Croatia and, let's see, there was a couple in Croatia, there was one in South Dakota, there was New Zealand and Puerto Rico. And if you just go and you can literally see every day from on this website, including, and then when she was talking about when she sent the host out yesterday. How many did you send out?
50 billion.
50 billion.
You'd hear that.
Well, it's crazy because I pulled up an article this morning when I opened up the internet, and the first thing it said was, South Florida residents report shaking. No official reports of earthquake or explosions. And it happened in areas like Broward County, Miami-Dade, Monroe counties, also in Coral Springs. Mm-hmm. And just various people were reporting that their house started shaking. This dad was working with his son doing virtual school when their chairs started to shake, and then the rest of the family came running in the room asking what was that, because he thought, am I imagining this? They went outside to see if it was like a big truck. There was no big truck. They've checked all the seismographs, the geographical whatever people that check for earthquakes. There's no reports, nothing. None of the graphs moves, none of the things. And then they said, well, maybe because there was a lot of military, that maybe they were testing the jets, because when they do the sonic boom,
it's a big rumble.
But they contacted the military bases in the area, and they said, no, we did all our jet testing on Thursday. Nothing was done on Friday.
Right.
So at the very end of the article, it says the official cause of the shaking and rumbling is not yet known.
Yeah, because you can't see the host leave.
So,
but you can sure hear them.
Yeah. So I did share the article in the link, but there has been a tremendous amount of activity.
There has.
Like I even Googled earthquake. January 12th, there was a magnitude 2.9 earthquake in Utah.
Right.
And then...
That does not mean God will destroy with earthquakes. That's letting you know something is happening.
Yeah, and if you even do earthquakes for today, you just Google earthquakes for today, it literally shows you a list of all of the ones that happened today.
Did they have one here today?
In the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I think it was Indonesia, wasn't it?
Earthquakes today. Here we go. There was a 5.5 in Iran, a 5.5 in Afghanistan.
I understand that completely.
A 5.9 in Guatemala, a 4.0 in Hawaii, and this one really, when I told you this one, there was a 3.6 in Conrad, California, which is smack in the middle between Sacramento and San Francisco.
Wow.
And what did you say about San Francisco?
Yeah, they just put a notice out that they were banning Trump from any kind of broadcast or saying anything whatsoever from San Francisco and their area and their frequencies. And that's exactly where that earthquake happened. I think God is saying he's not happy about that. So this is just a little heads up to encourage you, to let you know that shaking has definitely begun. And no one can turn that back. Nobody can turn back time. Nobody can stop God from what he wants to do. I just want to encourage you all.
For you, what is the most spiritual experience you've had while either listening or performing? Either being a part of a team, performing, or listening to music. Tell me like a spiritual encounter you had in a nutshell.
Undoubtedly. We were in Alexandria, Louisiana. It was when I was with Jason Upton. And we went into this college auditorium, and I basically just put the recorder on and let it go. And we were doing sound check, and I looked up to the ceiling, and I started seeing this fog coming through, and I figured it was just like the condenser in the air conditioner and the coil or something. This fog starts coming in the room, and I started feeling a whole lot of God all of a sudden. I really didn't put two and two together. I'm a little slow on the uptake sometime, and so I asked the janitor, I said, hey, what's that stuff coming out of the ceiling up there? And he looked up there and he said, I don't know, there's no pipes up there. And so this holy fear kind of came over me. And meanwhile, there's all these youth guys in there, and they're real stoic, and they got their arms crossed, and everything's kind of like, let's see what you got, young man. One of those things. So we finished, and we just started playing, and it got to the point where it got so thick in there that I jumped off stage and I went and jumped under the soundboard. I mean, I felt so much God. I was like, oh my God, at any minute something's just going to bust through. And all of a sudden this little kid comes under the soundboard. He goes, there's a 12-foot angel standing behind Jason Upton. And you know what? I know I wasn't singing because I wasn't up there. William wasn't singing. Jason's singing, but there's 2- and 3-part harmonies going on in the room. And I'm going, what in the world? And I'm looking on the hard drive recorder, and it's recording it. And I'm thinking, if this is on here when I play this back, I'm going to come out of my skin. So all of a sudden, all this stuff happens. All these guys that were like, yeah, they're, Daddy, oh God, And Jason, I look at Jason, and he's up on stage, and his eyes are rolled back in his head, and he's teetering on his piano bench. I thought, oh my God, he's drunk. I thought that was something that he did all the time. And he starts saying, da, da, da. I thought he's completely lost it. So all this stuff's going on, right? And it's happening in real time, so you're not even catching all of what's happening. And then after the meeting, I went up to, because we were rooming together, I went up to get Jason off the stage. He was completely plastered. But he'd never been drunk in the spirit before, so he said, I'm feeling all tingly. My arms and, Michael, my legs. And make a long story short, he fell asleep in the dorm exactly like a drunk guy would. He just lay down on the bed with all his clothes on in his bag, and he was gone. So the next morning, I'm thinking, was that real? I went back to Nashville, and I'm in there with this engineer friend. I was producing the project, and sitting on there, we're going through all the material. We get to the song Fly. And all of a sudden, I said, well, any minute now, if that was really an angel, and all of a sudden, there's this perfect voice that comes flying. I went, whoa! And I said, we got to find that. And the engineer goes, oh, that's just a psychoacoustic anomaly. That's probably a tom-tom ring or something. So I thought, oh, yeah? Well, let's find it then. So we start going through, we start soloing out each channel, not a tom-tom, not a keyboard, blah, blah, blah. We get through everything except Jason's vocal. Now remember, the kid said there's a 12-foot angel behind Jason. So we solo Jason's vocal track, and there's 2 waveforms on there, one little one and one big, big one. And you can see it, and not only that, but you can hear it, and the guy goes, well, that sounds like something standing like 12 foot behind Jason. I said, I told you it was an angel. And so literally on that, when that part hits, it doesn't matter. I mean, you get hammered every time. So here's where it got really crazy. So all of a sudden we start getting emails from Heidi Baker's group up there. Unbeknownst to us, when Jason's going, it's Malawi for come to the table. So We think he's just this drunken guy in a stupor, and he's actually, so they play it when the orphans are out to play, to call him to lunch, they play, da, da, and all the little kids come running in.
Going up to new atmospheres. Going up to new places. Going up to new atmospheres. Gotta have new ears. New ears. Heavenly places. Heavenly places. Heavenly, heavenly places. Heavenly places. Heavenly places. Heavenly, heavenly places. New revelation, new revelation. What are you doing? Where are you going? Gonna give. Some of you been fighting for a very long time. Some of you been fighting that ground warfare for a very long time. Sticking out your fists and fighting. God wants to take you to new places, new places, new places, new places, new places, new places, new revelation, new revelation, new perspective, new perspective. Every of you, every of you, every of you, every of you, every of you. I declare over you, God is giving you the air. God is giving you the air. So fly. It's time to spread out your wings. It's time to shake off the things that hold you down. It's time to spread out your wings. And fly. Just fly. You have escaped the sin. Like a bird in the air. You've escaped the snare. Like a bird in the air, you've escaped the snare of the enemy. You have been set free. You have been set. You have been set free. Nothing, no, nothing can ever hold you.